Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to That's Football. This is your latest football news. A day off from the Euros, but not really. Massive transfer news coming in. Arsenal officially in for Locatelli. What a signing that would be. Spurs get a new manager, Everton get a new manager, Mbappe's leaving PSG and Messi's a free agent. That's just some of the things we're going to be talking about this morning on the show. But as you can see, surrounded by me, we are sponsored by the OneFootball app for the show this morning, our Euros 2020 show. And with this being said, That's Football, and it only makes sense to be sponsored by OneFootball, as we are the number one place for football news and transfer news on the YouTube, and they are the number one place online for all your live scores, football transfer news and up-to-date content surrounding your favourite club and leagues. So it is a match made in heaven. As you can see from the video next to me, the OneFootball app is super sleek, simple to use, and a basic must-have for any football fan watching the Euros or wanting to keep up with your transfer news. So what are you waiting for? Head to the video description, download it for free today using the link provided, and thanks again to OneFootball for sponsoring this stream. Now let's move on with the show. And you'll find on the OneFootball app, I'm sure, all your Euros updates, like I said, and all your transfer updates around Mbappe and Locatelli. So make sure you download it free on Apple and Android. But I'm starting off about Locatelli. What a Euros he's had. Not a lot of people would have known a lot about him before, especially with the year that we've just had. Not a lot of people have been watching the European leagues as much as they would have done because it was such a condensed Premier League. He's had a very, very good season in Italy for Sassuolo. I can't do it. I've known the name for years. I just can't pronounce it. Anyway, Sassuolo, I think it's their president, has come out and said, and I'll quote you from this. This is from Fabrizio Romano, so Arsenal fans can get excited. CEO Carnavelli to Sky Sports. Arsenal have made an official bid for Locatelli. They're pushing hard to sign Manuel. It's an important bid. We will see. Also, Juventus want Locatelli, and we have a special relationship with them. We've got a meeting scheduled with Juve. I mean, look, I would say that 23, he's only just 23. He can play CDM. He can play box to box. I'd love Locatelli at Manchester United, and I'm not going to sit back and lie about Arsenal's transfer policy being decent. I thought Partey was a good signing. I thought Pepe was a good signing. I thought Gabriel was a good signing. Now, maybe they haven't been the signings Arsenal fans want them to be, but it does, I don't think their transfer recruitment is terrible. And I think that Locatelli would be a super player. Absolutely super. They're looking at Sabitzer as well. So you can't argue with the recruitment of Arsenal. It's just how far I think they are behind from others. But if you bring in a player like Locatelli, he's probably epitomises the sort of player Arsenal need to bring in. Now, there's always a concern about bringing an Italian player in, of course, but I don't think any English club fan could say that's not a good signing for Arsenal if they can do it. The fact they've put an official bid in is interesting. Locatelli to Juventus is expected to happen, and to be honest with you, I don't expect Arsenal to win this race, because when there is a young Italian midfielder, whether it's Barella, Tonali, Locatelli, there is interest from Premier League clubs, but they tend to stay in Italy. That's what they do. I mean, Verratti's one of the few that's sort of done that, left Italy. So it'd be very difficult for them to do this deal, Arsenal, but the fact that it's official, the fact that they're trying to get the deal done, and if they were to beat Juventus to this signing, would be massive. Arsenal will have the funds. Do they have the funds to outdo Juventus? Depends what the player wants. I think the player will want Juventus, but you know what? Sometimes money talks. So watch that very interestingly, because if Arsenal get him, he's a fantastic player. He really is. I can't say anything more than that. Fantastic player. Just very, very quickly, Jadon Sancho to Manchester United. Obviously, I've covered a lot of that on the United Stand if you want to check that out. Very, very pleased with the deal as a United fan. Very, very pleased with the deal as a Premier League fan. Obviously, we've not seen him much in an England shirt, which has been disappointing. I still think we're a little bit blinkered about the ability of English players abroad. I think if Jude Bellingham was playing in the Premier League, he would be playing next to Declan Rice in that midfield for England. And I think with Sancho coming back to Manchester United, you will see Sancho going to the England team. I still think we're quite, insular in the fact that, you're doing it for Dortmund in a Champions League quarter-final, but can you do it against Burnley in a mid-table battle for Arsenal, And I almost feel that is the mentality that we have, really. So Sancho into England for Manchester United, I think people will see what a talent he is, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with Bellingham, actually, because I do think Bellingham is arguably our best midfielder in that England squad, but he's not getting starts because I think, you're 17 and you're playing in Germany. I don't know. So Sancho's a good signing. Kylian Mbappe is quite a big story. I don't know whether this factors into Liverpool or not. I know they've always been linked with Mbappe. He's not going to sign a new contract at Real Madrid. He's not going to sign a new contract there. He's going to stay where he is. Sorry, not going to sign a new contract at PSG. He's going to leave and head off to Real Madrid. This is what we're expecting. So 1 year left on his deal. Like a lot of people, Pogba's in this situation. Ousmane Dembele's in this situation, and Mbappe's in this situation, and Varane's in this situation. A lot of French players with 1 year left on their contract. Apparently, coming out of French news today, he will not sign a new contract. He's happy to stay at PSG for another year, but he won't sign a new contract, which means he will probably stay there for another year, because to buy Mbappe this summer is going to be very difficult for anybody to do. And I think what's going on here is that I think Mbappe probably wants to go to Real Madrid. Real Madrid could probably not afford to buy Charlie Austin at the moment, let alone Mbappe. So they've probably sort of said, look, we really want you, but we can't pay your transfer fee. Please let your contract run down. So that's what it looks like to me. Interestingly, also in Spain, Lionel Messi out of contract officially today. He's a free agent. I wouldn't read too much into that. He's playing in the Copa America at the moment for Argentina. I think he's just broken the appearance record for Argentina against Bolivia. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, if I was a Barcelona fan, I would be a little bit nervous that your best player and the best player in the world is a free agent and can just go anywhere. And it might just make, a Man City or a PSG go, here's the money. But there seems to be a lot of confidence that there will be a deal done with Barcelona. So we just have to keep an eye on that, because if Messi was to leave, it would be massive. I mean, he's still arguably the best player in the world. But I think he will end up staying at Barcelona. And then that brings me back to the Premier League. I mean, I've got to talk about this. The appointment of Nuno as Tottenham manager. I'm just baffled by this. I felt like doing a video on its own last night, but I was just so busy with the Sancho stuff. I don't know what people think about this, and I think we've all got an opinion. You don't just need to be a Spurs fan. Look, I think Spurs get bantered because of their empty cupboards and they've got no trophies. But, Pochettino was a good coach. He took them to a Champions League final. Mourinho probably was a risk, probably worth the risk to get a manager of that quality. Didn't work out. Sacking Mourinho to bring Nuno in, who's had a terrible season at Wolves. And I don't care what you say about Nuno, right? I've always said this. Wolves are boring. They play park the bus counter-attacking football. They're a boring side to watch. And even when they were successful, they're a boring side to watch. I don't know why Spurs have appointed Nuno. They messed the Conte deal up, but surely Graham Potter has got to be worth more of a go than Nuno. And I think this is the problem with the English game again. We're talking about ignoring players when they're playing abroad, but ignoring English managers to go and appoint foreign managers who have... And look, I've got nothing against foreign managers, that's not the point, but the reality is Nuno is a foreign manager compared to a Potter or somebody else. Nuno's brand of football is appalling. It's so boring to watch. And Potter at Brighton plays a very expansive football out from the back. What would Spurs fans want? You want the expansive football. What have you got? You've basically got a disciple of Mourinho. I mean, you could argue a Poundland Mourinho. Like that, you've gone for a very defensive coach. Now, I hope it works out for Spurs. I really do. But I'll put my hat in the ring here and I'll say right here, right now, this is another waste of time for Spurs. However many years Nuno's there, maybe you'll have a couple of good years. Maybe you'll have 1 year, maybe 3 years. But you're not going to win any major trophies. You're just not. And I'm quite disappointed in Spurs in their appointment there. I thought they could have done a lot better than that. I actually thought Nagelsmann, all right, he went to Bayern, they couldn't do anything about that. But that's the sort of... When Mourinho was sacked, that was the sort of quality of manager I had in my head. Not Nuno from Wolves. So... And also, I think we've had this before. You almost get these managers that are... They have this aura around them that actually, when you scratch the surface, I don't think they're that good. I never thought Roberto Martinez was a good coach, and he seemed to get a few jobs as well. So I don't rate this appointment by Spurs. I've got nothing against Spurs. I like Spurs. I think they're an inoffensive club. That's because they don't win things. I don't think you're going to win things and become an offensive club by bringing in Nuno. But there you go. I actually think Benitez at Everton. I think Benitez to Spurs would have been far better than Nuno. I mean, flip it the other way. Everton get Nuno, Spurs get Benitez. I'm still sat here going, why have Everton replaced Ancelotti with Nuno? So it's not a Spurs thing. And I'm saying, you know what? In fairness to Spurs, Benitez is a decent coach. So I think Everton, once they confirm Benitez, is a really, really decent coach. Obviously, the Liverpool connections add a bit of drama to that. But look, it's hard for Everton. Ancelotti is now managing Real Madrid. Last year he was managing Everton. That just shows you what a good coach they had in Ancelotti. Virtually impossible for a club like Everton to replace who I believe is one of the top 5 coaches in the world. I put Ancelotti in the top 5 coaches in the world the other week. So, I think Benitez is an interesting one. And, fair play to Everton for going for somebody who's actually got a pedigree and could still be a very good manager, instead of doing something like a Nuno or let's bring Roberto Martinez back. Something like that you just know it's not going to work out with Nuno. With Benitez at Everton, they probably won't work out, but there is a chance. I don't know. Anyway, let's see what happens with Arsenal and Locatelli. Get your comments in below. What are your thoughts? Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video, subscribe, and make sure you download the OneFootball app. It's free for all your latest Euros chat, transfer news, stats, everything's on there. Links in the video description for that. I'll speak to you all in a bit.